guess that basically what this episode is going to be about is kind of something we've been talking about for a while, that we kind of want to go in a different direction from where we've been the last few years. We're not trying to cut ourselves off from what we've been doing, but we do want to kind of refocus away from the erotica, more towards the horror and the supernatural and the suspense type of stuff that we've sort of been working on more lately. We kind of had a discussion about how things kind of ended up as it did for our last book. It was a learning experience for us. We kind of Okay. It was a learning experience for us, but some of the things we learned from it was that we had gotten in some bad habits with our fan fiction writing, and some of the bad habits were not having to do as much world building or even as much character development. And really what we would like to do now is try to not necessarily fix that, but we want to make sure that we are developing those skills a little bit better now. Now, let's you talk a little bit about.
Yeah. So I think that both of us was a little bit scared about, ending up in that category with the horny Highlanders and raping raptors and what have we.
Right.
So, well, me personally, I used to write horror before I wrote erotica, and well, fan fiction is just it's addictive in a way because you sort of have your reader base fixed. It's easier to get a reader base on fan fiction than it is on original stuff.
A lot.
You have to fight for it, man. Um, so in that way, to write fan fiction, it's a different technique you use, and in some aspects you need to de-learn. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Unlearn what we've learned.
Yeah.
Bad habits.
Very bad habits. So it's just been something we've been talking about for some time, that we wanted to sort of not break completely off because we still do what we do, but just make clear that what we're doing here is just something completely different. We're not going to fall into the Griles pitfall of walking from one erotic scene to the next, but instead sort of work on character development and the spooky stuff. And
Yeah, the story development, world building.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Talk about the stories for free.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
Talk about one story first, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, my friend had a time. My friend had time to look the story over and fix my needs of drama and stuff. So I expect the werewolf story to go up for free sometime this week. You just need to sit down and go over.
Yeah.
And I don't know what format it will go up in. Well, text obviously, but but I sort of mean if there's if we find something pictures to go with it, or if we decide to read it out loud in a video, or I don't know. I don't know how things will go. It'll depend on how much time we got.
Yeah.
How
bad I have to.
yeah, that. Well. So expect that in a couple of days, and well, I'll post it all over and give it to Anne to post as soon as she posts it. And we're posting the story more.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is
Yes. The second story, in order to kind of illustrate what we mean by that we're going to be using the same characters in different stories, we'll give two stories kind of as a teaser, so you can see how we're doing it. The story then, the second one we're going to post is going to be mine, and it is. Wait, is it going? Serial killer?
Go for the story.
Yeah.
The lady.
Yeah, yeah. The second story we're gonna post is gonna be one that I wrote, and it's a serial killer, not a hooker lady. It's a serial killer, sort of, kind of, with my own unique habits. Yeah, exactly, exactly, exactly. It's a serial killer if you try really hard. Basically, we have a serial killer stalking. It looks like a serial killer stalking a group of male prostitutes, and a new guy has showed up, and nobody knows where he's from. Nobody knows what he's doing, and you kind of start getting a feeling for what he's up to, and you kind of get a peek into the mind of a couple of the guys that are working there. So you'll see how the werewolf story handles the same characters in a completely different situation. So,
And that
yeah.
would be the point to sort of
Yeah.
illustrate the kind of book we're working on, um, and what we mean with the concept of libertarian.
Yes.
So we don't have like we don't know when the second story is going to be out, but eventually, right?
Eventually.
In the decade.
Give or take. Give or take. I wrote most of it during Nano in November, so it's kind of got to have a little bit of a tweak here and there, or a lot bit of a tweak. So it'll eventually get re-edited. I hope actually really soon. This end of winter, early spring. So
Um,
yeah.
okay, so I know I've been talking about this space story in an older video, but just in case, I wanted to sort of refresh it. And also, I fleshed out the story a bit more than I did the last time. And as I know I mentioned in an older video that some other story premises, and what I did was to sort of mush some of them together into one big, I don't know, chaos of things. But so this space story, this deep space story, is about so it's about a prison in space where I was figuring that maybe at some point when Earth is super overpopulated, that it would be easier to remove individuals who can't sort of play by nice in the sandpit and send them to space because it's easier to uphold people in space. But I didn't want it to be like a space station, so I decided to let the story happen on like a planet, and then the inmates would have like a dual what's it called purpose. They would both terraform and they'd be out of the way, sort of tucked away somewhere.
Australian space.
Yeah, Australian space. So the story is that apparently they lost contact with this space, this prison, and like a team of I haven't really decided rescue workers, soldiers, whatever, something comes along to figure out what's going on. They find one survivor, and since the world at this point probably don't want to pay for staff members, um, I decided to not go with the original sort of Lord of the Flies thing, even though I haven't abandoned it completely. Then I decided that the staff would be like androids and machines and stuff. So they do find like an android and a survivor, and need to find out where the hell everybody else is at. Um, and also at some point get off the planet again. And that is basically sort of yeah the premise of the story. I haven't started writing it yet because I think it's been a mix between being lazy and busy.
Yeah, they give them.
So Yeah, that's really what I have to say about that. But of course, if you have any super duper ideas that you feel like I need to know, let me know.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Hmm. Yeah, because deep space is fucking scary, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, at least it's Australia minus the kangaroos and like killer spiders, but that's
I'm
just
sure I
assuming.
can figure something out in the planet surface that can go there.
I'm not for it. Totally for it.
Okay.
For the decade. I kept looking at that and it looks like it says penises. And I kept looking at it, I'm like, don't laugh, don't laugh. I was like, I'm pretty sure it says premise.
You do know I'm gonna have to keep that in the video, right?
Probably shouldn't. Oh, no such thing as too strong, right?
That's what pussy's name.
Sorry. Oh, I thought that you would turn the video off. Okay.
No, I got you. I got you on tape.
Well, that's nice. That's nice. Try to mash them together a little bit. Okay. Okay, so we're going to talk about the hotel story. Kind of one of the first ones we started working on with this series. Introduces right off the bat two of the main characters that we've been working with a little bit before with different stories. Before we decided to put them here, we have got Junior, who is pretty much always a cop, investigating an abandoned hotel with his partner, where they believe that a serial killer, again, serial killer is very scary. He believes that the serial killer may have taken his latest victim. Pretty much from that point on, it is not, nothing is going to be quite like what it seems. It's not, no matter what you think is happening, it's not what you think is happening. So,
Yeah. And as we were saying in the other take that we
yeah,
used,
take one,
yeah,
three.
take was that I still believe it's like an afterthought on like what happens when you die or purgatory or afterlife or limbo or
Limbo, that was the word I was looking for earlier.
whatever sort of in between states.
Yes, limbo, that was what I wanted.
So
And that makes sense. That once you read through the whole thing, that will make sense.
that will make sense.
Definitely. That they are, nothing is quite straightforward.
But you could say sort of like all find themselves in this situation, trying to get out of it without ever understanding why they're there.
They don't understand their situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That was Rain Man. Rain Man just made an appearance.
What?
Anyway.
Yeah, go.
Okay. On from serial killers to zombies. Because, you can't have a collection of horror stories without zombies. However,
Let it be known.
in my opinion, counts. Because I'm writing it.
Fucking valid.
Yeah, this one is going to be zombies. It's not quite typical zombies. You will need to, well, try to imagine a big box store like Target or Walmart or Costco, something like that. A very large store. What would happen if something turned 90% of the employees and no, shoppers into zombies? How would that present? What would the people who were there start thinking? Would you immediately assume that this is zombies and that you can start killing people like in a movie or a video game? Or would you want to hold back and try to figure out what was happening? And we end up with a group of 4 or 5 who have not been affected by whatever caused this. And while they're hiding, they actually have, some of them believe that they need to just go start killing zombies and believe they're zombies, while at least a few of them believe that these are still human beings and that they're going to be able to be fixed, essentially. But as they go on, they start realizing that it is not fixable, and that they start seeing that really they're kind of doomed themselves. And so, as they're trying to leave the situation, kind of where the story ends as they're trying to actually find a way out and trying to figure out how far this whole event actually is. There's no power, there's no cell phones, there's no cars at that point, so they have no idea if this is isolated to their town, is it the county, the state, the world. They have absolutely no idea. So, imagine standing in line at the pharmacy at your big box store, and suddenly everybody in front of you starts trying to eat you. You know. So that's kind of where we're going with this. It's not quite Walking Dead, but
super long.
yeah. Well, the problem is I'm not sure how long it would take you to figure out your co-shoppers at Walmart with zombies. I mean, they're willing to fight you for the last loaf of bread, so.
Check out that.
Yeah, the lines are clear.
Yeah.
So. Oh, I get to do. Okay, so we're gonna do sirens now.
I just noticed there's people in the phone up.
Oh, there is a person. Well, just ignore the person. Well, I mean, there are people in the story. This story is kind of a take on the siren myth. Not siren like woo-woo siren, I'm talking about like the sea creature siren. Just to be clear, well, with my accent, you never know.
Probably very short subject.
I'm thinking, it's like, oh, that was scary. Yeah, like, oh, that woke me up, that startled me. Okay, back to sleep. Yeah, nothing quite that straight. I may be tired. This one is actually going to be an artist is trying to take a break from his past. He is actually from the Midwest, has recently suffered a tragedy in his life. Tragedy. And so he's had a hard time kind of getting over it at home. So he's decided to come out to the coast of Maine. Oh no. Okay, 5-second break.
Oh no.
I'm really not sure what I said. Is it a tragedy?
Nothing. Excuse me.
Okay, we'll start back.
I'm gonna have to start all over, man.
Yeah.
No, you don't have.
Well, no, I'm going to start back at the tragedy. Which is what kind of we have an artist that has come out to Maine to stay at a bed and breakfast. He's had a rather rough time at home. He's from the Midwest. And he's not been able to complete his projects because of recurring nightmares and issues. They thought that getting away was going to kind of help. He goes to bed and breakfast. It is owned by kind of an unusual Maine innkeeper. He's actually much younger than expected. Tattooed guy. Really not what he expected at all, but he's a nice little inn. He has another guest who is actually a fairly well-known novelist who is staying at the inn with him at the same time.
He's a total asshole.
Oh yeah, he's a total asshole. This guy is an absolute jerk. And so while he's still trying to settle in, some really strange stuff starts to happen. And he strikes up a relationship, a friendship, and a relationship, I guess, with kind of a local guy, but it's not. The guy isn't alive. He's trying to warn him about what's going to happen. And so that's really the basis of the story. It's not a secret that Otis is dead. It's not a secret.
No.
And yeah, I know. I'm just like trying to be quiet because I can't not laugh now. Okay, what part of that was funny? So I know not to say it again.
You, that's funny. It's her.
Okay, so
He's like, can't see her.
Ooh, 5 seconds. Okay. The main character strikes up a relationship with a local guy who turns out to be a ghost, who is actually trying to warn him about what is really happening at the inn and in the area. And the story develops in order trying to see if he can actually save Colby from what's going on. And what is the innkeeper actually up to is a big part of it, and how does he tie into it? How does the novelist tie into it? And exactly why is everything happening in this this one particular spot, but that you expect it just normal vacation spot for old people. It's always Vancouver. It's in Maine. It's in the U.S. Yeah, it's in the U.S. It has to be Vancouver. It's set in the U.S. So.
This story we don't really have a lot about. I can't see you. Go away. You're not fucking helping, man. Think you need to go to bed? Anyways, uh, so this is a story about a dead guy. And this dead guy has a bunch of friends from college or whatever, high school. I don't know. We haven't decided yet. But they're very different people, and so we have this like wake or something. At least he's buried, and they sort of meet up afterwards. And so the premise of the story is these people sit there and talk, and the more they talk, the more they sort of discover about not only each other but the dead guy as well, until I don't know, you sort of unravel it like snowballs or whatever you want to call it.
Unravels probably.
Unravel. It's pretty well. I don't know. I think it's
Because he wove that pretty good.
yeah.
It had to come apart. You know what happened?
So this guy who's dead apparently was really good at not sort of informing his friends what correctly. No, that's bullshit.
He was manipulating them.
Yeah. So everybody sort of have their own story about what went on or something they did with him. In the end, I don't know.
Didn't know how much to give away on that.
No, no, I don't.
Yeah.
It's not a story to talk about.
And they start to discover each other's roles in their dead friend's life.
Yes, yes, it's kind of that. Yeah. Well, this is only like super duper on the drawing board. So.
This is okay.
Right, so the last story, maybe.
That we have played.
Yeah, we're gonna play it. It's also like super duper on the drawing board, but it plays on a group of friends that went camping, and something happened on this camping trip. Something that we don't know. And the story is seen through the eyes of the I don't know, awful detective, whatever.
Park ranger.
I something like that. Bowser the Clown, who knows? Another person.
Our good buddy the copfish.
You know, and so he's trying to one of this camping party basically has been kidnapped, and he finds that it's the friends that went camping with this guy that kidnapped him. So it's up to this cop to figure out why they kidnapped. Kidnap? Kidnap?
Kidnapped.
It's
Yes.
not fair. Kidnapped. Snatched off.
Black tape on his mouth. Stuck him in a trunk.
Where's that paid for? Oh, well, we promised there was no like banjos or canoes or anything.
Yeah, no canoes or banjos. Yeah.
Might be for people, but
Is it set in Arkansas?
South Carolina.
That would be better. Yeah.
Um. Anyway, so this cop needs to figure out why these friends sort of stole their friend, where they went, and
Yeah, it really boils down to why. Why did they do what they did?
you know, it's not really per se like why not quite who done it, like the Wake story with the dead guy, but
Yeah.
more like
Well, I mean, it depends on whether or not you believe that their explanation is true or not, whether it's supernatural or not.
yeah, yeah.
It depends on your point of view on that one. You
Yeah.
believe.
And so decided to test out their skills by writing those shorter, well, not short, but shorter
Yeah.
stories. And posting here on the Reddit mostly. And, um, we're gonna do so as one person.
Yeah, they count. We're gonna use one account.
Because you can't know who of us it is that can't spell.
Okay, no, it's me.
So we're gonna write these things as one word machine. So if you see them anywhere else under that tag, it's one word machine. It's extreme hassle to get a story up on creepypasta.com. That's what we call it though. So I think we're gonna find other venues or get better.
Yeah.
We're also gonna post it in the blog.
Yes.
We need to plug it.
Yeah. I'm assuming like I'll post the most on like personal one, so they can sing. So they'll kind of be around.
Bless you. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that way it'll be available in several places, depending on what people are looking. And like you said, these will be shorter, sort of not necessarily test pieces, but kind of get us back in the swing of it.
Yeah. I will also post it in the Tumblr. That's called Word Work Machine. And go into the link in the description. Tumblr and a blog.
Okay. Yeah.
Your blog.
Oh, but that'll be fine. Our blog, it will. I think I have a link in there. I know. Oh,
It
we'll check.
goes on YouTube. That's
Yeah. Okay.
And
Oh,
there's something you want to say.
yeah, we were going to talk about the interviews with the characters.
Oh,
The characters for the book project. There's 6 of them that are the main characters that we'll be using through the various stories. And while it will be slightly different in each story, just because the circumstances will be different each time, each of the characters are going to have some sort of concrete traits that they will have through each one. And so we have a list of interview questions as if somebody was interviewing them as if they were actors in these projects. And so it'll give you a chance to kind of get to know the character while you go through the stories with them. It'll just kind of give them a little bit of grounding, and just be kind of fun for us too to kind of dig into what they would be thinking more as a person and not when being chased by a zombie or a serial killer or whatever jumping off cliffs.
and those interviews will be on the blog.
Those will be on the blog. Yeah. Well, the first one's up.
Yes.
Colby's is up.